Hey YouTube, hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It feels so good to be back in front of you guys. Like, you have no idea. Like, genuinely, I've fallen in love with the process of filming and editing again, and it just feels so good to be back. But this video right here is going to be speaking more about isolation instead of just singlehood when it comes to a romantic relationship, and how important like isolation periods are, but also having a balance when it comes to this thing, because isolation is great. I believe that everyone should have many isolation periods, but it is also important to be surrounded by a good group of people. And so this actually is going to be the topic that we're going to be jumping into, because as you guys know from my first couple of videos, that I have spent some time in isolation, and my isolation period lasted over a year. Honestly, yeah, probably, okay, let's just say over a year, right? 365 days. I like isolation because it's a really great chance to learn who you are and really peel back the layers of like your ego and why you are the way you are, you know, because there's so many people that are like, oh, that's just who I am. It's not. It's really either, you know, emotional trauma or society programming. Like there's so many things that go into who we are, you know, especially who we are like on the outside, like who we show up as, you know. And I love how isolation gives you the opportunity to mold yourself genuinely, and especially as like at a young age. Oh my gosh, like it is like there's a lot of people who I feel like will say either have childhood trauma and almost like kind of like run and distract themselves for so long, and then by the time they are 30, they will have a midlife crisis because they've never had that opportunity to just sit with themselves, you know. And there's so many reasons why not, like work, school, family, relationships. Like there's so many reasons why people say they don't have like enough time for self-care or just to give to themselves. But if it's not a priority, there won't be time for it. And it's funny because personally, when I was in high school, at least, I used to view being, you know, alone and by yourself as like, you're like an outcast, or like, oh, like I don't even know how to explain it. I used to like, I don't want to say I generally feared being alone, but I just was definitely uncomfortable with the idea of being alone when I was in high school. You know, like everyone wants to sit with like a group of people at the lunch table and stuff like that. And when I would see people by themselves, I always would be like, oh, like I don't want to be that. Now I eat by myself and no problemo. You know, isolation is a beautiful thing, but like I said, it is very important to have duality, because yes, there's so many good things about isolation and all the things that you can like learn, but too much of a good thing can become a bad thing. Like I know that you guys have seen those studies or maybe even TikToks about like that lady or a guy that drank too much water and literally died. Water? And our body's like what, 80%, 90% water? So like, what does that tell you? That's like I like when nature or just even like our body makeup is the lesson in itself. So yeah, that's isolation. And now I want to talk about the importance of who you surround yourself with. Not only the importance of being alone, but the importance of your inner circle. And because I was in isolation and really kind of, at least from the age that I am at now, feel like I do have a better understanding of who I am and who I want to be. It gave me more clarification on who I want to be surrounded by. There's so many quotes of like, you are who you surround yourself with, or even if like you are around 9 procrastinators, you will become the 10th. So knowing that, I was like, okay, if I'm coming out of isolation, I kind of like wiped the slate clean. I removed myself from a lot of people, places, and things that just no longer served me. And I was like, okay, let me be super intentional when it comes to who I surround myself with. And I am around people who understand that I do have my isolation periods where I do kind of just go into grind mode and put my head down. And I'm around people who understand that I want the best things for myself and the people around me. Like I want to be around people that motivate me, who inspire me, and who love me for me. And that can sometimes be hard to find in a world where people are superficial and who are wearing masks. You know, because some people will be around you because of what you can do for them or how you make them feel. Some people want to be around you because you motivate them and you inspire them. But if it's not like an equal energy exchange, you guys really aren't aligned. And I feel like for me, I kind of struggled with this in the past to at least be able to like see it and clock it. But now, like, I genuinely love the people who I'm around, you know? And even, it's so funny too, because a lot of my friends are not even in the same state or country as me. Like, I literally just had a friend from a different country that visited me this last weekend, and we've known each other for 2 years. We've worked with each other on like a same remote job. We're like this, but we met for the first time in 2 years. And like, I was going through my other friends, like I have friends all over the country. And I feel like, honestly, for me, I'm like a low maintenance person. Okay, let me rephrase. I'm a low maintenance friend, very high maintenance, but I'm a low maintenance friend. Like, I don't need you to text me every day, and I'm not going to text you every day because I'm going through my own things and I'm living my own life. But it doesn't mean I don't love you. That just means that I am my own priority and I take myself very, very seriously, you know? And that could be a conflicting topic too, that people are like, well, you don't, blah, 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 blah. Keep it to yourself. And also, like, the older and older I get, I've been healing like the girl friendship wound. And the more women that I speak to, a lot of us have this. Like, a lot of us struggle to make friends with other women just because of maybe even high school, maybe even just mother-daughter relationships and just like that type of ordeal. But like, the older and older I get, I really realize that I am a girl's girl. And I used to be almost like, I don't want to say a pick me. I don't want to say a pick me, but low key a pick me, because I was either like, oh, I want to hang around the dudes because like the girls just be wanting to start drama and yada, 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 when the guys just want to get in your pants, you know? So it's like, girl, come on, you know? And I really, really realized like I am a girl's girl. Like, I love doing girly things, and I will always look out for my girls because he wants to get in your pants and I want your best interest. Like, this quote came to me when I was literally like, I think I was either like listening to a podcast or watching a YouTuber, or honestly just on like TikTok. Like, some girl was talking about like the girls that just be like all for a man and would just like ditch her girlfriend. Like, y'all are crazy, y'all are whack. And then I came up with it. I said, wow, like, he wants to get in your pants and I want your best interest. We're not the same. We're not the same. And I used to try to like ram that lesson down people's throats. And I'm like, you know what? It is not worth it. If you don't want like this type of person in your life, that is okay. Because I also realize, like, and I'm not even sure if it's like my zodiac. It probably is. Like, I'm an Aries. That's my sun. And then I'm a Scorpio moon and a Libra rising. I love all my signs. And I realized, like, that is just my personality. Like, I'm very blunt. I'm very straightforward. And I will give you the tough love because I love you so much. I won't have you out here looking stupid. Like, I would rather somebody be like, girl, like, what are you doing? Than just to sit by and be a bystander and let that shit happen. I'm sorry. And I will not surround myself with people that are like that either. Period. Because, I mean, one, I'm probably going to clock it first, but I like having people around me to be like, what's going on? How's the mentee? You know what I'm saying? Like, again, like, you are who you surround yourself with. And then I also touched on the idea of, you also do need to like have a balance of when you are surrounding yourself with people, because if you are surrounded by people too much, you have too many influences and energy, like, impacting your thinking, your emotions, all of that. Like, they can trigger different parts of you. And I feel like that's exactly why it's so important to have some times where you are alone and you are solo, when you are alone and when you are solo, because you get to think, like, if there's nothing going on, if there's silence, all you hear is what's in your head. And when you are listening, you're even able to like pick out, like, say if like there's a crazy thought that comes to your mind, like, oh, that's crazy. I think that came from Instagram. Like, why would I think about that hate comment? And that's another thing too. Social media, even if you're by yourself and you're afraid to be alone, know that being on social media is just a form of being unconscious. Like, turning on a TV show is being unconscious. Like, when you are sitting, just like, say if you're meditating and you're just sitting there, you are consciously like being aware of your thoughts and even like your emotions, even what you're feeling. And so when you're on social media and you're just scrolling, you're really just seeing other people's lives. Oh my gosh, that's another thing too. Is like just watching other people's lives is not going to serve you. Like that's another thing. Like you have to be, when you are alone and when you are in your isolation periods, like you have to be very intentional about what you're doing. Because for me, I was barely on Instagram. Like I wasn't on Instagram. From time to time, I was on Instagram and I wouldn't look at people's stories and I wouldn't post and I would barely be on the app. Like generally, like I was on TikTok for like a couple of reasons, but I wasn't on Instagram because Instagram just feels different to me. And I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. And I don't know, like looking at other people's lives and stuff, that's where comparison comes in. That's where envy comes in. That's where jealousy comes in. Like I feel like all of these triggering emotions that are constantly in the chemical makeup of your brain and body just aren't good for you. Like I was aware of that and I was like, okay, well, I want to change the way I feel, so I have to change what I'm doing. You know? Crazy. But yeah, I mean, that's about it. This video is not as structured as I thought it was going to be, but I know I dropped a lot of gems. And if you can relate or if anything stood out to you specifically in this video, please comment down below because I'm curious. I'm trying to build my audience and my community around a lot of like-minded women. And I always grew up watching like motivational or like strong, independent women, boss babe, man eater type videos, and it shows. I want to find women who kind of resonate with that and who I can make content that speaks to you guys, just because I genuinely am so passionate about it and it is so me that I just want to keep, like, I don't know, like I had a thought about this today and I literally made a video about it. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the type of stuff that goes on in my mind, in my universe, and I want you guys to be a part of it. And even if you're wanting to be that type of individual or striving to be there, you're for me, because I had to build my way up to this personality. I used to be one of the nicest, passive, people-pleasing girls on the planet. In a way, because I'm still the oldest daughter. And thank you guys so much for watching. Go ahead and like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.